Nick Rudder from McKee's37.com. I'm really excited to introduce an updated version of our hugely popular 360 Ceramic One-Step. This is an all-in-one formula that simplifies the detailing process by combining a cleaner, a polish, and a sealant into one easy-to-apply formula. Basically, 360 Ceramic One-Step is like a cleaner wax on steroids. It really cuts down on the time it takes to detail a vehicle if your goal is not perfection, but instead you just want to enhance the paint and apply a durable, long-lasting sealant. Just like the previous formula, it's extremely easy to apply. It basically melts into the paint, leaving virtually no residue to wipe off. You can apply it by hand, or you can apply it using a dual action or rotary polisher. And the level of cut is completely dependent upon the pad that you choose. Now, this can be used on brand new cars, or it can be used on weathered vehicles like this 2012 Volkswagen Jetta. I featured this vehicle in a couple different videos. It's a used car, it's got 100,000 miles on it, and it could certainly use some TLC. So where does the One-Step fit into the McKee's 37 lineup? Well, if your goal is to make the car look better, like if you're a detailer, and your customer doesn't necessarily want to pay for a paint correction, but you still want to give them a really nice result, then you can use this to get some paint correction and of course a long-lasting sealant. And that's where the new formula comes into play. It's more durable, so it's going to stand up to the elements better, especially in harsh northern climates where you experience snow, sleet, and there's ice all over the roads. So for this demonstration, I have this Volkswagen Jetta. The trunk, as you can see, it's not in terrible shape. Now, keep in mind, a One-Step is not a miracle product. It's not designed to replace a swirl remover or a compound. It's designed to find a fitment somewhere in between to where it's going to give you some paint correction, but of course, give you a long-lasting protection as well, again, saving you time and reducing steps. So just for fun, for this detail, I divided the trunk into 5 sections, showcasing 5 different Buff and Shine pads. I'm a huge fan of Buff and Shine. Their pads are proudly manufactured in the USA. And just to give an idea of where this 360 Ceramic One-Step fits in with the level of cut and paint enhancement for each pad, I took tape and I taped off all the different sections here. So, starting with the microfiber pad from Buff and Shine, this is the most aggressive pad. This is for deeper defect removal. Now remember, 360 Ceramic One-Step, it's only going to cut as much as the abrasiveness of the pad that you're using to apply it. But there is going to be a limit because this is a lightly abrasive formula. So if you were to pair it with, say, a really aggressive wool pad, don't expect it to remove 1,000 grit sanding marks. That's not what it's for. Again, it's for paint enhancement. So for the microfiber pad, each individual fiber acts as an abrasive. That's why these pads are so effective for paint correction. You want to make sure you apply I wouldn't say a liberal amount, but certainly don't use a One-Step sparingly. I see people make that mistake all the time where they apply just a couple pea-sized drops in the pad, and that's not the best way to apply a One-Step. You want to make sure that you have an ample amount of product on the pad to lubricate the surface so it can actually remove the defects and also provide a barrier of lubrication between the pad and the surface. Plus, you want to make sure you have plenty of sealant that's left behind on the surface. Very important. Do not use it sparingly, but also do not apply it liberally either. Find a happy balance. So I set the root best polisher, the HLR15, which I love this tool. This is part of the iBrid series. It's lightweight, it's smooth, it's easy to use. I set it on speed 3 and I got to work. So working from left to right, I used the microfiber pad, followed by the maroon pad, which is a medium cut pad. And then the blue pad, which is a heavy polishing, and of course the yellow, which is a polishing pad. Just to get an idea and to demonstrate to the best of my ability how the One-Step performs with each respective pad depending on what your goal is when you're working on a detail. So, couple observations. The trunk is not perfect. I started out by cleaning it. I used a waterless wash, and then to make sure that all the bonded contaminants were removed, I used our AutoForge Universal Clay Towel. This made sure it was perfectly smooth. Then I put my tape line down and I got to work with each pad. And the end results, well, you can see that the paint was definitely enhanced. Now, you might not receive the correction that you expected from the microfiber pad given how aggressive it is, and that's because, again, with a one-step, not just a McKee's one-step, but any one-step, there are going to be limitations to how much cut it has just because this is not a very abrasive product. It's lightly abrasive for paint enhancement. So what I found during my observation and my testing is that the blue pad and the yellow pad really worked best. So the blue pad is a heavy polishing, so it had the mechanical cutting ability to engage the abrasives, but it also maximized the gloss. So some defects were removed, but it left the surface really glossy and of course, really slick. And same thing with the yellow pad. As you can see here, where I used the yellow pad, it's right next to the area that I did not polish at all. There is a significant enhancement. It gives you about 95% of the enhancement, as did the microfiber pad, but better clarity overall because again, you have a softer pad that's not going to leave any haze or micro marring. So keep that in mind when you're using a one-step. And then another application for a product like this, if you have glossy B-pillars, like you'll see on this Volkswagen Jetta, well, the Scan Grip Light, it shows all the swirls, all the scratches. This B-pillar is in terrible shape. So I applied a tape line, I took my yellow pad, applied just a little bit more polish, and then I got to work. Now here's a tip. Instead of leaving the doors closed, where I would run over the rubber trim and potentially damage it with the actual buffing pad, not the polish, but the pad, I open the doors, that way there's nothing in my way. So I turn the polisher on speed 3, and after about 4 or 5 passes, just like I did on the trunk, 4 or 5 passes, all it takes, check out the after results on the B-pillar. It's a night and day difference. This really demonstrates just how well 360 ceramic one-step works. And of course, the surface is glossy, it's slick, and it'll be protected for a long time. So a common question people ask, when I use a one-step, do I stop there or can I top it with something? Well, if this were my car, I would polish it with 360 ceramic one-step, and then I would follow with fast gloss ceramic sealant. This will really just make the paint pop, and applying the fast gloss ceramic sealant, well, it only takes a few minutes, so why not do the extra step? So, in summary, if you're looking to simplify the detail process, maybe you detail professionally, or maybe you just want to clean up the wife's car, but you don't want to spend all day doing it because you don't really care about it that much, 360 ceramic one-step is a phenomenal choice. There's very little compromise. It lasts a long time, it's super easy to apply, and it leaves the paint looking incredible. For more information on this product, visit McKee's37.com. If you like videos like this, give me a thumbs up, click subscribe, take care, and God bless.